Morbid Facts, Part 651. Dr. Fauci's NIH division, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, funded a series of horrific experiments on beagle puppies between 2016 and 2020. One of the most graphic studies involved dogs placed in mesh cages while sandflies were allowed to bite and feed on their heads, allegedly to study how certain parasites are transmitted in hopes of improving treatments for parasitic infections affecting humans. Some dogs were reportedly devocalized to prevent barking and were euthanized at the end of the studies. While Fauci wasn't personally conducting the tests, his agency approved the funding of about $375,000 for the research. Critics, including lawmakers and animal rights groups, condemned the studies as unnecessarily cruel and accused the NIH of lacking transparency and ethical oversight in approving such horrific procedures. The incident sparked widespread outrage online, with many calling for Dr. Fauci to be held responsible for the funding decisions made under his leadership. Morbid Facts, Part 208. Just last month, Sheldon Johnson went on the Joe Rogan Experience to tell the story of how he turned his life around after serving 25 years in prison for a minor offense. The same guy was arrested earlier this week for allegedly murdering a man and storing his head in the freezer. In 2017, a group of Maryland college students consumed so much alcohol at a house party that the air in the house registered a reading of .01 on a breathalyzer. In 2003, two Australian teens spent 22 hours in a tree above rising floodwaters after a crocodile killed their friend and showed off the boy's body to them. The 13-foot croc then stalked them in the tree all night long until a helicopter finally rescued them the next day. In 1968 Vietnam, Marines William Cox and James Hollingsworth met in a bunker where they vowed to reconnect every New Year's Eve if they survived. The tradition persisted for an incredible 5 decades until Sergeant Hollingsworth sadly passed away. This photo shows Sergeant Cox faithfully standing guard for his comrade one last time. Morbid Facts, Part 551. In 2012, tragedy struck when 30-year-old newlywed Maria Pantazopoulos was having some trash the dress photos taken in Montreal while wearing her wedding dress. She was only standing in about a foot of water on a river when her gown became waterlogged, quickly pulling her deeper and deeper underwater as her dress suddenly weighed up to 100 pounds. The photographer did everything he could to save her before Maria cried out, "I can't anymore, it's too heavy," and then she let go. Her body was recovered by a scuba diver 2 hours later. In 2008, a college student from Belgium decided to heat up some leftover spaghetti that had been sitting out on the kitchen counter for 5 days. He told his parents that it tasted strange, but figured it was the new tomato sauce that he added to the pasta. After eating the entire bowl, he headed out to play some soccer but had to return home 30 minutes later while suffering from severe abdominal pains, headaches, and nausea. He then vomited for several hours before finally managing to fall asleep, but he never woke up. The man's lifeless body was discovered the next morning after he died from an extreme form of food poisoning known as Bacillus cereus, aka fried rice syndrome.